Greetings YouTube and welcome to the Blue Corner. As you can see here, this isn't Yu-Gi-Oh! Or Pokemon. In fact, it's Mega Man Battle Network, and let's jack in and get started on this, shall we? So what are we doing here? Well, I figured to show you guys the Tengu Cross folder that you saw in the video where I slaughtered Pulsar Beast GF, SP, and Base BX. Excuse me. And yeah, I just will explain a little bit of things about it. I'm just gonna say this right now. The save you see here is just something I grabbed off of GameFAQs because I just didn't really want to go through Battle Network 6 from start to finish again. At least not so soon. I'm probably gonna like do all the previous games in order. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, blah 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 blah, and then I'll like play the 6 legit. I just wanted to have a save that would let me go fight Base BX really quickly, and this is what I got. So it has everything. All chips, just everything. So yeah, I can build any folder I want, which is fun. The Navi Cust though I had to do myself. I had to configure all this stuff. So to show you my Nav Cust setup, because I've got Bug Stop, I don't care if my stuff's outside of border and whatnot. The important things is custom 2, Bug Stop, custom 1, and chip shuffle. Therefore I get the maximum amount of chips I can per turn, plus the ability to mulligan, which is always very nice. And then maximum charge and attack, because why not, even though the Buster is terrible. The Buster stopped being good after 2. I'm just gonna say that. Instead, it's all about your battle chips and how you can make use of them. And in this case, I have a Tengu Cross folder, and one that I enjoy playing very much. It's based off of one I saw from the Renowned Folder FAQ. I think I made maybe 1 or 2 changes from it. The Renowned Folder FAQs are in every Battle Network game. GameFAQs has a special FAQ that just shows advanced folder building strategies and combos, and just some really good stuff you can use to learn how to be much better than the game that you may think you are. I learned a lot when I was playing through the games at the time. Neat folder and chip interactions. Wow, I want to keep saying card interactions for some reason. Go figure. But this folder is based around taking full advantage of Tengu Cross's abilities, and Tengu Cross is a wonderful form. It has Omni Shoes, which allows you to walk over all panels, and you're unaffected by all panels too, so poison panels do nothing, you can walk over holes, which is kind of nice for enemies like Ground Man. It also has the ability to fire a wide attacking Tengu Claw, which is basically a fan chip. The Tengu Claw blows off barriers and auras, which is nice and knocks the enemy back. Pressing back in the shot button will draw all enemies in towards you, which also removes barriers and auras and sets up for nice sword combos. And then the last ability is your wind attacks get plus 10 damage, which may not seem much until you realize all the best wind chips are multi-hitting. In fact, let's just go down to wind. Alright, here we are. So there's Static, Tornado, Air Shot, Wind Racket. I mean, yeah, the Wind Racket is a solid 150, but it's really about your multi-hits, and it just so happens to be that the best multi-hitting wind cards and chips, they're all in T-code. So, the obvious play to do here is to take advantage of Air Spin and Tornado, because you see, when you fire an Air Spin, and you fire a Tornado on top of it, the Air Spin hits many more times, which with the additional 10 damage off a Tengu Cross allows you to hit some pretty nice numbers. I believe I was doing roughly 700 damage for Air Spin 3, 720 I think, when I shot an Air Spin 3 and it had a Tornado backing it. And Tornado itself does decent damage too. Like with Tengu Cross, a Tornado will do about 240 damage, which is a fairly decent amount. It's like a half to a third of a boss's HP. And with Beast Out form, you'll never miss with these things. This has always been a knock. Air spins are a bit harder to pull off because they're slow. They have to go across the screen, go to the very end, and then start attacking. However, thanks to the support in Battle Network 6, it's possible to lock the enemies in place long enough for you to start doing your air spins. And that comes with our Murata Paralysis support. So let's get started on this. So you got 5 copies of Tornado. Max out on this, obviously, and you run as many copies of Airspin 2 and 3 as possible. In Battle Network 6, you can run more than 4 copies of a chip if their megabytes are low enough, and that's why I have 5 Tornadoes. You can only run 4 Airspins 2 and 3 Airspin 3s. I would much prefer a different variation of ratio, 5 of this and 3 of that or whatever, but Airspin 2 and 3 still do a decent amount of damage. And then to help make the air spins go off, I run 3 copies of Flash Bomb 1. Flash Bomb has the ability to damage enemies through invisible and flinch stun, which is very important as a lot of the strong attacks in this game make enemies flinch. So you can fire off a Flash Bomb, it'll paralyze an enemy long enough for you to fire an air spin and then tornado it and then do the good 700 damage and stuff. Also, to help keep the enemies pinned down, 3 copies of Area Grab. By area locking the enemy, it becomes virtually impossible for them to dodge air spins, which allows you to again get off the combo. And then a copy of Fast Gauge, because getting to your chips faster is always important. And then 3 copies of Invisible, it's staple, it's one of the best chips in the entire series, allows you to be immune to damage except for a couple instances for a full turn and a half under Fast Gauge. It's one of the few true staples of Battle Network. 3 copies of White Capsule, you tack this on with Air Spin or some of your Navi chips to set up the enemies for your combos. White chip makes anything that's tacked onto stun very important, especially when you couple up with Tomahawk Man. Tomahawk Man does a 3x2 range slice attack, which is basically Life Sword. With Area Grab in play, your opponent cannot dodge it, so you swing with this, they're stunned, proceed to do Air Spin. You're starting to get the idea of what this folder does. Tomahawk Tengu Man SP. I managed to actually get a couple practice fights in on Tengu Man beforehand, so I powered up the chip a bit. This isn't powered up at all. It can do much more damage. I think it's like 220. But anyway, Tengu Man, unfortunately, he does flinch, so you have to White Capsule it. But it does 300 damage, which is pretty nice, and he has a unique hit radius. He'll hit the bottom 3 panels twice, which is okay. And then the 2 true staples of Valorant. If you're building any folder in this game, you have to run these 2 guys, Erase Man and Judge Man, in Star Code. Because they both hit through piercing, they both do piercing damage in that your opponent cannot basically, unless they physically dodge these, they're going to take damage. These hit through Invis, and Erase Man also hits through barriers, I believe, and guards. He's just so good. So they'll hit the opponent, and they'll stun them, which allows you to then do your stuff. The idea is basically you fire off one of these guys to stun the opponent, and then air spin, or if you flinch them with Tengu Man, then you use these guys to stun them again, and then, yeah, that's pretty much what we're doing. And then 1 copy of Element Man. He serves 2 purposes in here. His first one is the lightning form that he does. When he goes to lightning form, he'll blast away 3 panels 2 spaces ahead, which can be used to, again, set up your air spin. And then his grass form, which will turn all panels into grass. When you fire a tornado off on a grass panel, it does double damage. So a 30 damage tornado multiplied to 60 times 8. 5 times. With auto tracking in beast out form. That's pretty good damage. And that's pretty much what you can be doing with this. I have another variation of this where I tried to be more fancy. I threw in a bodyguard program advance and a life sword program advance. I also threw in base and alley and double beast. But honestly, this isn't near as good as this build, even though I do love me my bodyguard program advance, so you guys know that. And then this is just a terrible folder. So, yeah, again, if you want to check out some good stuff when it comes to Battlework, I highly suggest checking out this advanced folder building stuff from GameFAQs. Even this folder itself just teaches you some of the basics in how you want to build a good folder. Find a strategy you want, build it around it in as much of the same code as possible. Get some supporting items in the form of these guys. Run your defenses, then you got your staples. You can apply a Yu-Gi-Oh level-esque of science when it comes to Battlework folder building. You'd think you wouldn't be able to, but you can, and look at me, I've spent 10 minutes talking about just this folder in itself. But, yeah, that's all I got to say on this. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Until next time, this is BlueStar899 and Mega Man jacking out.